Well, on this episode, we have AEW Dynamite's Grand Slam with one hell of amazing matches that we just witnessed. Also, going to review two past events from two different Japanese promotions, one by All Japan Pro Wrestling, and of course, the other, Stardom. So, let's get started with another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Gerard here. So, let's begin with the latest AEW Dynamite Grand Slam. If you guys know, they're taking over New York. They're in the Arthur Ashe City. I have to say, what a great event. So, let's cut to the chase and jump to the first match, which was one hell of a dream match. I think many fans have been dreaming of this match for quite some time when the name Kenny Omega's name appeared. And I think this is one of those dream matches we anticipated. But however, I think this is one of those matches like, okay, what will it be the outcome? I mean, every move, everything they pulled, all the stops was great. But I think the real question was the conclusion. How will this end? And there was a poll, I saw this on Twitter from many their YouTube channels where they talk about this. Others were voting for a draw. Now you could say, but isn't that a bit more? I would agree, but it saves time because we may never know what they're gonna plan out. But the draw was pretty good. But however, the way they proceeded is where we have Super Clint attack Daniel Bryan's, but later comes Christian Cage along with Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy of the Jurassic Express, giving them a helping hand. So we are expecting those two teams to face off this coming Friday on Rampage, which I'm excited about. Now, as you know, CM Punk, he decided to throw in a little promo 48 hours before his Rampage match against Powerhouse Hobbs. He comes out talking about how Team Taz didn't finish the job. The table didn't break and all that. It was a really interesting promo. But he did state it to be careful what you wish for. But what's funny is the fans booed Team Taz despite the fact that he's a New York native. So, boo! So, it was a pretty good promo. I enjoyed it. Now, our next match is MJF along with Wardlow taking on Brian Pillman Jr. along with Julia Hart. This match was was okay. It did tell the bit story. But if you guys know this or not on Twitter, turns out that MJF's parents decided to show up and they said that their son sucks. Yes, it was right there. I was laughing my butt off when I saw this. I was thinking they were going to be in the front row, but no, not this time. But the match was great, but however, much of salt of the earth MJF he is, he used Julia Hart as a way to get what he wants in order to get into Brian Pillman's head. However, it did help him when he put him in the armbar to force him to tap out. So that's how MJF is. And he's begging for someone to try to stop him. Now we jump into the interview. As you know, we got Jake Hager and Chris Jericho taking on the Men of the Year, and they can't wait to get their hands on Dan Lambert, who never shuts the hell up. So they gave him a clear warning, but however, we'll see what's going to go down. Excuse me. The next match, we got Malachi Black versus Cody Rhodes, and we just had the return of the Queen herself, Brandy Rhodes. I have to say it was great. The match went pretty well, and I think it showed a lot of character, the kind of person um, Malachi Black is. He would stop at nothing to destroy Cody. And I think that's how it's being told. I think they're trying to. Some people say they should not put Malachi over. I mean, they have to. Because the thing is, we need him to be at the top. And of course, there's rumors and circulation reports are saying that Malachi Black is considering forming his own faction. You know, but we'll see how this one goes out. But Malachi Black did got away with it when he pulled the mist onto Cody's face, allowing himself to pick up a victory and winning this match. The next match is FTR, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler taking on Sting and Darby Allin. I have to say, it was a really, really good match. I was so impressed with the whole thing, especially how when Sting had Cash Wheeler in the Scorpion Deathlock, and of course, um, Dax shows up, tries to help, but however, Darby pulled off the coffin drop outside where Dax was on the ring apron, making F, Cash Wheeler to tap out. And this was a good match. And of course, Sting clobbered, of course, Tully Blanchard. And it was a pretty good match. I enjoyed it. Now, our next match is the main event. It was for the AEW Women's title. We have Ruby Soho taking on Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. So it was a good match, and I think it was telling exactly how we wanted. Like, you can see how Britt Baker wants to retain the title, stay at the top, and Ruby Soho's trying to make a name for themselves. And of course, you cannot forget the outside interference coming from Rebel and Jamie Hayter. But sooner or later, there will be that one person that's gonna overthrow Britt Baker. It will be whoever they decide to put her at the top. And I think, but what I think about the show is the Grand Slam, instant Grand Slam. I enjoyed it, and hope everybody did. But right now, let's move on with reviewing the Japanese wrestling promotions. The first one we're gonna do right now is All Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, so we got Japanese promotion All Japan Pro Wrestling. Um, there were some events that I was unable to see, even though it wasn't on the Watch Pro Wrestling site that I normally watch it from. But this is one I was able to see. This is part of the Royal Road Tournament 2021. Day one. This one took place on the 15th of August, and there's two shows in one day for this one. This one was the afternoon show. Now, I don't know much about the Royal Road Tournament. They had 8 matches in total on this one. Now, I'm assuming there's elimination matches, but all of them in this one particularly were all first rounds. So let's go from the top. The first one is Jun Saito taking on Shuji Ishikawa. It was a good match, a bit more of the submission or catch wrestling style, which fits perfectly for these guys. But however, it was Ishikawa who actually pulled off the victory with a pinfall, allowing himself to win the match. The next one is Yoshida taking on Black Minsori. It was a interesting match. I was like looking at Yoshida. He looks dead serious, like he was willing to ensure to win, and that's when he pulled off the biggest upset. Is when he pinned Black Minsori in order to win the match quickly as possible. The next one is Seigo Tachibana taking on leader of Purple Haze, Zeus. Man, Zeus is a beast. When I look at him, he is such a character. Not to mention a great submission specialist, and that's exactly what he did. He put Tachibana in a submission hold, forcing him to tap out and allowing himself to win the match. The next one is Atsuki Aoyagi taking on Takao Omari. Now this one is a took a bit more violent. Omari, he was willing to hurt Aoyagi one way or the other with the chair, but however it was Aoyagi who picked up the victory with a major upset in this one, and it was pretty good. The next match is Kento here, Miyahara taking on a member of Total Eclipse, Yosuke Kondoma. It's interesting how in this one, Kento, he is a fantastic wrestler. He is like their version of Okada in Japan, in all Japan. But he was good. He was really amazing to watch, and he pulled off a victory. Next one is Kuma Rashi taking on Shigehira. Now this was a powerhouse match. It was like really balls to the wall type. Now the real question is who is going to be the powerhouse to win it, and it was nuts. I wasn't sure how this was going to end, but I was happy with Shigehiro Iri, who won the match with a powerful lariat to force uh, Arashi to lose the match. And finally, our main event is Sugi taking on Jake Lee, the leader of Total Eclipse. It was a fantastic match. I think it was one of the best ones I've seen. And of course, but however, Jake Lee won the match, but he did give out a promo talking to Suji. Maybe he's inviting him to join Total Eclipse. I don't know. But we'll see where they're going to go with that. For right now, I'm going to end it right here, and we're going to go with Stardom. Okay, so this is part of the Golden Fight Week tour by Stardom. This took place on the 3rd of May. This is day 2 for them. The first match was a three-way match. We have Lady C, Ina, and of course Unagi Sayaka. Now, it appears that there was seem like a team up between Ina and Lady C. The reason is Unagi, she is the type of person who likes to stir things up with everybody. If you ever follow her, every time she's wrestling someone, she starts stirring the pot. But however, it was Unagi Sayaka that pulled off an amazing victory with a some sort of a frog splash onto Ina, no, to Lady C, allowing herself to win the match. Our next match we have is Hana of Stars taking on Shuri of DDM. I have to say, I was a bit surprised that Hana could hold her own because A, she's a trained jiu-jitsu. As for Zuri, if you guys know this or not, Zuri is an MMA fighter. Basically, that's the reason that there's been some amazing fights between both Suri and Konomi. And it was a pretty good one, but however, Hana did her best as possible. But she was no match for Suri when she forced her to tap out. The next match is a tag team match. We got Odetai, Rina, and Konomi taking on Cosmic Angels, Mina Shirakawa, and Tam Nakano. It was a good match. It showed a lot of character, even though they're being more careful with Konomi, who is considered known as the submissions demon, or the demon submissionist, whatever how they calling her. And but however, they did use Rina as the fall person. It was what's her name, Mina Shirakawa, to pick up the victory on Rina when she did like some sort of a somewhat version of the paradigm shift, but it worked for pretty well. The next match is the other members of Odata. We got Ruka Natsuko Tora taking on their longtime rivals Stars, Starlight Kid, and Mayu Iwatani. It was a good match. It showed a lot of character in this one where Stars are determined to bounce back after losing what's her name? Fukigen Death. It was so pretty good. But it was, of course, Stars that picked up the victory on this one. The next match is an 8-woman tag team match. We got DDM's Himika, Natsupoi, Julia, and Maika taking on Queen's Quest, Saya Kamitani, Azami, Momo Watanabe, and Tami Hayashida. It was an amazing 8-woman tag team match. But however, I think the best moment is Maika, who was making a name for herself, pulled off the pin for her team, and now she's sending a message to anybody who gets her way, because apparently her and I forgot who else from her team, and what's her name, someone else from their team along with Saya, are part of the golden generation. I don't know what that means, but it's important. But it was a pretty good show. I enjoyed it, and I can't wait to review more of Stardom for all of you guys, because I don't know who's a big fan of Stardom. So hope one of you guys are. So I think we'll end it right here for this particular part of the episode. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm assuming this is going to be a very short one for all of you. I originally was supposed to do Hardcore Hustle Organization, which is another promotion based out of Jersey or so. I was unable to do that due to some personal developments that's happening in my life. I'm not going to get into that discussion at this point. But however, I apologize. I might have mentioned this on the previous episode. But I will make that particular show um, revised back once I'm cleared, because for those who do know or don't know, I actually plan which shows that I want to review, especially the ones that we know that are happening on a day, such as AEW Dynamite, or Tuesday, where we have 3 shows that are already being broadcast, like NWA, AEW Dark, and NXT 2.0, and that kind of fits into the reason. But right now, we got more to come. We got Got to Move's Choco Pro event. We got day 3 for the G1 Climax 31 by New Japan. Of course, NXT UK, and we cannot forget, of course, Impact Wrestling. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah, and have a nice day. Bang.